What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I wanted to get into this. I wanted to talk a little bit about Brian Kelly and the LSU football Tigers this year heading into the 2022 season that we are creeping up very close on, guys. It's getting there. You know, when August rolls around, you're getting real close. The Hall of Fame game tonight, preseason NFL football is here, and, college NFL football is coming. But the first thing I want to touch on with LSU football is the quarterback situation. And, they asked Brian Kelly what he's looking for as far as, from his quarterback. And he goes, a guy that's, going to take care of, not turn the ball over. So the first thing that really comes to mind, for me, would be, Jaden Daniels would be the go-to guy. It's likely Jaden Daniels, the transfer from Arizona State, played some good football throughout his career at Arizona State. Never really became an elite thrower of the football. He's a very good athlete. Miles Brennan, who's played some games, and then Garrett Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier would be my favorite, just because of the way he looked in the spring game, and he could say he's played 4 games, and he looked pretty good in the spring game. But, why would I go with Garrett Nussmeier just from what I've seen in the spring game, and just simply because, one word, upside. I think he has the highest upside just from, what I've seen in the very little amount of action I've seen from Garrett Nussmeier. So I would go with Garrett Nussmeier, but it looks like Jaden Daniels would be the guy. I looked at Phil Steele, projected it to be Jaden Daniels. A lot of, I can't speak for. I've listened to some LSU insiders. It sounds like they've kind of are leaning towards Jaden Daniels. A lot of from what I've heard from an insider in LSU media is that the fans are kind of like Miles Brennan. I can't speak for all LSU fans, but Miles Brennan. He had some flash, especially in the Missouri game 2020. Everything was kind of clicking in that game. Eric Gilbert was rolling. You had Terrence Marshall still playing before he opted out. So, Miles Brennan, a fan favorite. He's a guy that's been there a long time. But the key losses, Ty Davis Price at the running back is a key loss. They do return Kayshon Boutte at the wide receiver position. Boutte, very high upside, the guy that came in as my number 3 wide receiver for next year's NFL draft. Some people say he is the best wide receiver for next year's draft, but outstanding football player, and going to be right up there as far as the best in all of college football, and the best as far as draft eligible guys for the 2023 NFL draft. But Trey Palmer at the wide receiver, Jere Jenkins, number 10 is another, some guys I like. I really like their, when I went back and watched LSU from last year, I've liked their depth at the wide receiver position. I think they've got some talented guys there. Obviously, the offensive line needs to be improved a little bit, and the defense should be solid. Guys like B.J. Ujulare is a good player. Jacqueline Roy in the interior is a guy that's getting a lot of hype and a good football player. LSU should be fine defensively. I'm not super worried. They've all seems like they always have dudes on that side of the ball. Orgeron recruited pretty well, and Brian Kelly's doing a pretty good job of recruiting this far at LSU. So the schedule, open up with Florida State. They travel to Auburn, at Florida, and then home versus, I think what is it they get? Is it Alabama at home? Shoot, sorry guys. It's either Alabama. I think Alabama's, it's at Alabama this year, I believe. So schedule not super easy. But it's one of those things that I heard a guy say. LSU has a high floor this season. I agree. I would bank on the. For certain they're winning somewhere between 7 and 9 games for sure. I feel like that's very realistic. They could win 10 games, or they could maybe at worst. I could see maybe at the very worst this is they redo a 6-win season, but. I think with Brian Kelly, it just an 8-4 just sounds and just feels like that's, kind of what this could be. But there's, I have high hope, high expectations for Brian Kelly, as LSU football fans should, and this LSU team should for this year, and as the years moving forward. I think he knows what he's getting himself into, but he just Brian Kelly is a guy that is won everywhere he's been, had a dominant record in Division II, fantastic record Division I, and. Yeah, I think it'll be at least a solid season for LSU, and at the end of the year, you hope this is one of those years where you're kind of turning the page to next year, saying we got a lot better in 2022, and 2023 could be a really big time breakout year where things just really start rolling in year 2. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Big Time Football Talk. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes and clips from the show. Till next time, peace.